Praveena from group 320. I am going to explain about the goals and methods of biophysics. In this, my topic is finalism and causality, and my second topic is properties of open system. If we talk about the finalism and causality, the biological evolution is determined by the predominant survival of population that are best adapted to the environmental conditions. The organism that evolve traits that enhances their survival and reproductive success in specific environment. Like if we talk about some examples, like when a zygote, a fertilized egg, grows into a full adult, it's seen as a process designated to create an organism that can live with its specific environment. And essentially this productive use and greater changes organisms are helping to fit in their ecological roles. If we talk about another example, the bacteria can evolve resistance to antibiotics when exposed to bacteria. Antibiotics, most bacteria die. Some bacteria won't die because of they evolve. They allow them to survive. They evolved and leading to a population of resistant bacteria. An organism is similar to a machine built according to some design for the achievement of the definite purposes. Moreover, it is a simple mission of a high level of complexity. If we talk about living organisms can be viewed as complex missions designed for specific purposes shaped by revolutionary processes, and purpose shaped by evolutionary process. In contrast, physics focus on causal explanation without implying purpose. Example, sodium and chloride ions. Like next one is the immune response are more likely to survive infections. If we talk about the sodium and chloride ions, if we look at the formation of a crystal such as salt, NaCl, we would explain like in terms of physics, the interaction occurs because sodium ions and chloride ions attract each other due to their opposite charges. The result is a cubic crystal structure because of the specific charges of the ions. If we talk about the immune system, defined system that protects the body from germs like bacteria and virus. It has evolved over time so that the people with stranger immune systems are more likely to survive. This means that the traits help fight infections be passed down through the generations. And if we talk about the finalism and causality, and they work together in a understanding systems. Like finalism is idea that systems have tendencies or goals, like how a pendulum wants to return to its lowest point when disturbed. If we talk about the example, consider a simple pendulum. It is if the pendulum is hanging straight down, a stable equilibrium, a small push will cause it to swing but eventually return to its downward position. In contrast, if the pendulum is balanced upright, it can cause to fall over, leading to a new state. This illustrates how finalistic concepts are described. Physical systems in terms of their stability and tendency to sever to deviate from specific states. If we talk about the finalism arises in physics every time when we deal with the stability problems with variational principles. We mean stability is a strict mathematical science according to Lyapunov law. If we talk about the Lyapunov concept, are materials Lyapunov concepts are mathematical tools used to analyze the stability of dynamical systems. A stable dynamical system, when slightly disturbed, it will return to its original state. This can be expressed to the system tending to reserve its state. And for example, we already talked about the pendulum clock and the stable and unstable status of equilibrium on simple physical pendulum. And according to the Hamilton's principle, this principle states that the actual path a mechanical system takes in one where the variation of action is zero, meaning the action is minimized. In this context, the system aims to achieve the least action which affects a finalistic perspective. And then other example of finalistic formulated laws of physics are Fermat's physics in optics tends to achieve Le-Chatelet's principle in thermodynamics in stable state. And if we talk about the thermodynamics, And our next topic is the properties of open system. As I already said, living systems are basically open and therefore non-equilibrium. Example like living systems such as cells, ecosystems and animals operate in open system by exchanging energy and matter within the surroundings. The correction allows them maintain the state of non-equilibrium and their living, their function and behavior through examples like photosynthesis, nutrient exchange and complex behavior or ecosystem. We can see this principle manifest in the natural world. Example like animals, they take energy from food and it converted into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, muscle contraction and nerve impulses. Thermodynamics of open systems as applied to biology is associated with the names of Bertalanffy and mainly of Prigogine and his colleagues. Means Bertalanffy and Prigogine were pioneers in applying thermodynamics principles to biology. They focused on the open systems, energy exchange and emergence of order in living organisms. Shaping our thermodynamics of open systems can exchange both energy in the form of heat and work and matter like nutrients and waste with its surroundings. This is essential for organisms to maintain homeostasis and perform metabolic process or whatever. And thermodynamics open system which undergoes chemical equation, the total change in entropy in both the internal and biochemical like activities of the organism and its interaction. The environment like while living organism locally decrease entropy by creating within their system. Example, building complex molecules. They increase the entropy in their surroundings in accordance with the second law of thermodynamics. Next equation, the quantity of this define the entropy production as a result of chemical reactions taking place inside the system. This example shows this equation shows how a living organism can continuously produce energy, entropy through metabolic process while maintaining a stable internal environment by exchanging energy and matter with its surroundings. If you see, when isolated, the entropy will increase without bonds determine the importance of interaction with the environment for sustaining life. If we talk about the next equation, the both ds1 and ds2 are positive. The total entropy change ds of the entire system is positive, means it can never decreases. If we talk about like astronaut body, it acts as an open system because it exchanges energy and matter with the spaceship. It receives food, oxygen and water while excreting the waste like carbon dioxide. The heat generated by astronaut and the waste products released contribute to an increases in the spaceship entropy. In this case, because of it never decreases, it stays positive. And next equation, if you see that equation, it breaks down the total entropy change of the astronaut into two components. It represents change in entropy due to its irreversible process. In this equation, the overall entropy of the system and plus surroundings tend to increases only. And next equation is, if you see that equation, means the entropy change of the surroundings ds2 is equal to the negative of the entropy change associated with the heat lost by the astronaut. In this one, it is negative and associated with the heat lost by the astronaut. And if we talk about the next equation, it means that the total entropy is 0. Means entropy of the astronaut system is 0, indicating no net increase of the or decrease in their entropy from internal process alone. This analysis of heat flow between two reservoirs by treating other temperature as contrast on a fast time scale. However, over a longer decreases, the temperature will change and reservoirs exchange heat, leading to an eventual equilibrium. If we talk about the biosphere function as a steady state system and its irreversible cooling of the sun, if we take some examples like consider a forest ecosystem. Like forest acts as a steady state system where trees, plants and animals, some microorganisms or they interact continuously despite the sun gradually losing energy over time. Like it is an irreversible process. The forest maintains its structure and function by capturing solar energy through photosynthesis, and it is also recycling nutrients and diverse life factors. It also supports the diverse life factors, and then we see the application of reversible thermodynamics to any biological phenomena is impossible. Although biological processes are often irreversible and dynamic, the reversible thermodynamics can still be applied to understand various aspects of life. And then example, like if you see that example, in this equation, it increases the temperature significance, increases the rate constant, which is turn accelerates the reaction rate. If you take example of hydrogen and oxygen to form water, in this reaction is highly exothermic, meaning it releases a large amount of energy. However, the reaction doesn't occur spontaneously to room temperature because this energy is high. It means that molecules of hydrogen and oxygen need to be collide with the water, collide with a certain amount of energy to break the existing bonds and form a new ones. And then Arrhenius equation shows that the rate constant of the reaction increases exponentially. It increases more with temperature as more molecules move the required activation energy at high temperature. If the activation energy is high, the rate will proceed slowly and system may appear to be in quasi-equilibrium state, even though it is not truly at equilibrium. A catalyst can lower the activation energy of reaction, making it easier for the reaction to proceed. It can increase the rate of reaction even at lowest temperature also. An example, we already talked about this one, the composition of the hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen. It shows that how the thermodynamics, how in thermodynamics change in a system state often relate to entropy, a measure of disorder. In information theory, the amount of information about a system can also change, and this change is proportional to entropy. Essentially, gaining information can be seen as reducing the uncertainties of a disorder about a system. Like example, plant receives information about light conditions. It senses light intensity and direction and allows it to grow towards the light. Photosynthesis process is called photosynthesis.